Hello, I'm going to start with Psalm 22. My God, why hast thou forsaken me? Why art thou so far from helping me, and from the words of my roaring? O my God, I cry in the daytime, but thou hearest not, and in the night season, and I am not silent. But thou art holy, O thou that inhabitest the praises of Israel. Our fathers trusted in thee. They trusted, and thou didst deliver them. They cried unto thee, and were delivered. They trusted in thee, and were not confounded. So, I wanted to speak about something that used to be a big thing on the internet, which is chemtrails. And I have just one question: why is nobody speaking about chemtrails anymore? And what are they spraying on us? There were several pilots who spoke out about it, and as far as I know, some of them have died mysteriously. So, and by the way, Alex Jones, Alex Jones was according to someone that I have contact with on the internet, and her channel is called Exposing Human Trafficking, and she also told about celebrities that are involved with that, and she named Brad Pitt, who according to her is HIV positive, and she also named someone who, according to her, and thank goodness that he was already 15 years old, and he is by having because he has he was partaking in some of these orgies or rituals or whatever you want to call that, and his name was Alex Jones. Back then he was a nobody, but they are putting these people into certain places in the media and so on and so forth, and also in the military. And if you listened to what Kay Griggs was saying, Kay Griggs was the wife of a very high up colonel in the US Army, and his name was or is George Griggs, and she said that he was an alcoholic. So when he was drunk, he used to confess to her certain things that they had done, and she said that her husband told her that they were actively seeking out people who were very, very easily uh, controllable, or very easily uh, intimidated because of their psychological profile, and they all have to do a psychological profile before they enter the military, and Jeffrey Dahmer was one of them. And Jeffrey Dahmer also said he wanted to make an altar in his room to Satan out of the skulls and bones of his victims. So it's unbelievable. So, and also Lee Harvey Oswald, who they set up to be a patsy, a fall guy for what happened to JFK. And what really happened was that there were 6 active shooters with 1 bullet each, and these people, they were like brought in from another country, and they were strategically placed at Dealey Plaza. Since that happened, there was never again a president who would drive with an open limousine. And what the presidents are now driving are, I think they call the car the Beast, because it is so heavy, and it has glass in it which is impenetrable to bullets, and so something like that, what happened to JFK, would never again happen. There was a satanic coven in Chatsworth. I think it's in California. I'm not sure, but you can go on her page and give her a like on her channel exposing human trafficking. And she also talked about these people they basically do their rituals or orgies or whatever you want to call it. Often they do that with victims of human trafficking, because they can't speak out. And this is very hard to talk about. Even to talk about that is very, very hard. And she in her last video, she talks about that Bradley Pitt Jr. Should have married her, and he is also a Satanist, this guy that is worshipped by millions of people. So, and this is it's very hard to even talk about that. And she came clean because she never talked about herself. And people speculated in the comments if she was talking about herself and so on and so forth. But it took her like 14 videos to talk about herself and her own story. And she should have, she was scheduled because they are making the plans for the members of the Coven, and Bradley Pitt Jr. should have married her, and but and I'm only talking about this because when I hear her talking about it, I hear how hard it is for her to talk about these things that happened out of Chatsworth, and there is a satanic coven in Chatsworth which is called Our Sacred Lady of Endor, and it's even, I think, on Wikipedia that this coven was founded by a guy in the, I don't know, in the 50s or 60s, I'm not sure. So Bradley Pitt Jr. was a member of that coven, and many other famous celebrities were like visiting the Coven for an orgy or something, and some of these people were Julia Roberts and many other famous people. So maybe you can go onto her channel, Exposing Human Trafficking, on YouTube, and listen to it for yourself, and just by listening to it, decide for yourself if you believe her or if you think that she is lying, because I don't think she's lying, because it's so hard for her to talk about these things, and she has basically made it possible for some of these people to get rescued from the Coven. And she said that they tried to make her a targeted individual, which if you just type in to YouTube targeted individuals, you see that there are many people who this has happened to. And there were also people who were involved in basically freaking these people out. And she said it's very easy to put a stop to that, and that is use your camera and film and photograph these people, and they will be gone. So that alone, this thing about targeted individuals, I listened to one guy, it was years ago, who said he is a targeted individual, and they follow them around. They are always followed with cars, and even if they go grocery shopping, there would be 3 or 4 of these people making certain hand signs, and this would freak these people completely out. And when they notice what scares them the most, then they will develop this path, And this is also a strategy that is used by Scientology. And in Scientology, this is called the Fair Game Doctrine oder die Freiwild-Doktrin auf Deutsch. So the Fair Game Doctrine was written by the son of L. Ron Hubbard, who was also involved in training people. So you hear I'm not really, I don't know why I have a very bad cough. Maybe I'm coughing up the demons, I'm not sure. At least then there would be a good reason for coughing. So the Fair Game Doctrine was written by the son of L. Ron Hubbard, which is L. Ron Hubbard Jr., whose grandson is Jamie the Wolf. They changed their name to The Wolf with a soft D, E, and Wolf. And strangely enough, Adolf Hitler used this name, Herr Wolf or Mr. Wolf, if he when he checked into hotels and he didn't want people to know that he is there, he used this name, Mr. Wolf or Herr Wolf. And so these people are all Satanists. Even if that's hard to believe, it's still the truth, and I have a moral obligation to talk about the truth. So Adolf Hitler was introduced to these rituals through a man who he dedicated his book Mein Kampf to, and his name was Dietrich Eckart. And there is one famous quote from Dietrich Eckart, and I think he was a Satanist. And there is one famous quote from Dietrich Eckart, which is, I am the man that changed Germany. Adolf Hitler will dance, but I am the one who plays or played the music to which he dances to. That's a very famous quote from Dietrich Eckart, translated into English. So Bradley Pitt Jr. is a Satanist. Brad Pitt, by the way, as he's called now. Also, his wife was talking about the rituals that she did, and someone recorded it on a mobile phone. If I find the video of her, what's her name? She played Maleficent or something. Her name is Angelina Jolie. She is also involved with these people who make these rituals, these disgusting rituals, and she talked about in the video, she talked about some of it, and So I mean, I think that many people already know this, but nobody is speaking about it. It's like, yeah, so what, you know? Nobody is speaking about it. So listen to your conscience and speak about these things, because there might be a time where it's no longer possible to speak about these things. So maybe we should speak about that. So she named Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, um, um, and other people, which I can't remember at the moment, but very famous actors and singers, celebrities, um, um, which are basically modern day golden calves to worship, and people worship these people. It's unbelievable, and this has been going on since the 90s and also before that, but massively it has been going on since the 90s. And if you just listen to like what children were listening to, it's just unbelievable. So like, for example, the Spice Girls, and there was one little girl who got an autograph from one of the singers of the Spice Girls, and she said, "I will never again wash my hands. She she touched my hand, and I will never again wash my hand," and things like that. So that's worship. That's celebrity worship, and many of these people are involved with this cult, or many of these cults, and one of these cults operates out of Chatsworth. I think it's in California, Chatsworth, California, and the Coven, the witchcraft Coven, is called Our Sacred Lady of Endor, and I think it's even on Wikipedia that it exists, or at least that it existed, and it still exists. And if you want to know about this stuff, you have to listen to this woman who has a channel called Exposing Human Trafficking, because that's something that's huge at the moment. And the police also in America, if somebody just vanishes, they basically they don't do anything. They don't help you. So it's very disturbing, and it's very hard to believe. Especially if you are an atheist, you will think that I'm crazy, but this is true. This is real. And basically what these people are doing are using this and putting it upside down. So every commandment that's in there, they break it. And there was even one guy who said that basically the children of these people get assignments like homework, and basically they have like 10 assignments, which is basically to break the 10 commandments, and they do these homeworks for the Coven, and the last of the assignments usually is thou shalt not kill. So there was also a movie after Joaquin Rivers' brother died in front of Johnny Depp's nightclub, and he had so much cocaine in his system that it would have killed an elephant. That's basically what the coroner said, the guy who made the autopsy. So, and the drink was handed to him by a guy called John Frusciante. So Johnny Depp, out of compassion, closed the club for 7 days, because he had so much compassion with River Phoenix that he died like a dog on the street, being poisoned. He had so much compassion that he closed his club for 7 days. Wow, that's a lot of compassion. So, and after this happened, his girlfriend back then was Winona Ryder, and she made a movie about, and the whole movie is about that she killed her best friend, or one of her friends. So the movie is called the movie is called Heathers, 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 and the German title of the movie is also Heathers. So, and in this movie she poisons one of her friends, together with Christian Slater. So Christian Slater and Winona Ryder poison one of her friends by making her drink bleach, and she is in the bed sick, and they usually bring her a cup of tea, and this time the cup of tea is filled with bleach, and she dies. And that's the story of the movie Heathers. So, and this was very soon after River Phoenix died, and Winona Ryder was the girlfriend of Johnny Depp. And Johnny Depp back then was already very, very famous. He was hanging around with Kate Moss and other very famous models. And he had a tattoo, Winona Forever, and after they broke up, he inked out the last 3 letters. So since that it says Wino forever, and now he is basically has lost a lot of money because he has a taste for very, very expensive wine. So Wino forever turned into a sigil and determined his future. So this is very real, and it's very hard to talk about it because it sounds so insane. But also what this video should be about is chemtrails, and what are they spraying us with, because the condensation trails of airplanes did not used to be visible for the whole day, and you can see that they strategically spray one area because that you see often you see in the chemtrails that they really spray one area, and they go back and forth with their airplanes. And there was also, because I didn't really used to believe it was too conspiracy theory-y to me, and I didn't used to believe that it was real. But after I saw a man basically talking to a pilot when they just landed, and the pilot asked him if his video camera was off, and he told him that he would not videotape his face, and that he put it off. But you could hear the pilot talking, and I think the original video has been replaced, because in the original video you could see with the camera the board computer of the airplane, and you could see on the board computer the word chemtrails on/off, and yeah, there's a lot more to talk about that, but so the video is already 33 minutes long, so I'm getting to a close now. So basically, like it says in Ephesians 6:12, which has become a very, very famous part of the Bible, and it says that there is spiritual wickedness in high places, and if you just watch or read the flight logs of the Lolita Express, which was the airplane of Jeffrey Epstein, the first entry is Bill Clinton, and the number of times he was there was like 27 or something, or 22 or whatever. And also Kevin Spacey, he is also always one of the usual suspects, wink wink, because there was a movie with Kevin Spacey that was called The Usual Suspects, or in German it was called Die üblichen Verdächtigen. So, also Kevin Spacey ist immer einer der üblichen Verdächtigen. So Kevin Spacey was on the flight log of Jeffrey Epstein. Then also Courtney Love. And if you remember, what was it called? Ozzy Osbourne's reality show, The Osbournes. Basically his daughter, he did not allow his daughter or his son to go over to the neighbor's house, which was the house of Courtney Love, because she was involved in so much crazy stuff. And she's like the female Keith Richards. I mean, she has taken so many drugs, in my opinion, that it's a wonder that she is still alive. Then also about Courtney Love, she obviously paid someone to kill Kurt Cobain. And like, I'm not talking about this because I have some suspicion that this could have happened. There is no doubt in my mind that this has happened. And the guy who did it basically confessed on video that he did that. And also how he did it. And he said that basically he shot him, like the coroner said, he had so much heroin in his blood that it was just silly, it was insane. He could have never taken that amount of heroin, not even if he had a huge tolerance to heroin. He had like 24 times the normal dose of heroin that you take intravenously. And so, and he said how he killed him. He put something on his neck. I think that this guy was also very much into martial arts, so he could very easily control him by that. And basically what he did is he used something very, very sharp and severed his spinal cord, and then his heart would still beat for some time, and then he shot him up with all the heroin that he found lying around, which was like a huge amount of heroin that he put in his system. And he said as long as his heart is beating, the heroin will be in his system for the guy who makes the autopsy to find it. And also he said, when he put the shotgun in his mouth, he made sure that the puncture wounds behind his head would be destroyed, so that they could not be found. and as long as that would work, it would be impossible for anyone to find this stuff. And also, Courtney Love made sure that that she had an alibi that was completely safe. She made sure, uh, she and her attorney later spoke about it, that she found her backpack, and she found her diary, and it was very, very, very concerning, because she was her attorney and she found the diary of her. So she basically wasn't even allowed to speak about it because she was her attorney. So she had to wait until after the trial to be able to speak about what she found. And she said she found a note where it said "Get arrested!" exclamation point. And above that, alibi or something like that. Alibi, um, get arrested exclamation point. And so, and what did she do? She played unconscious. So she faked being unconscious in a hotel room, and on next to the bed on the nightstand there was some white powder, and later it was found out that this white powder, it was analyzed, and if that would have been cocaine or whatever, she would have gone to prison. But they found that it was just like flour, or in German Mehl. So they could not. So she was put into hospital. They found out that she's okay. Then she went into prison. And after they found out that it was just like flour or something, so it was not incriminating at all, and so she got arrested and she got a perfect alibi. And also she was involved with one of the detectives of this police station, and she obviously she had a relationship with this guy. So she had a perfect alibi. She also had access to what's going on with the investigation. So that's the story about Kurt Cobain, and basically the guy who did it, basically he confessed to doing it, and he said at the end of this confession that he would never be tried in any court for the murder of Kurt Cobain, because the trial has already happened, and even the police would do anything in their power to stop a second investigation. But now that there has so much time has passed, there is a probability for a second investigation into the Kurt Cobain murder, because it's just silly, because and I'm a very skeptical person, so when they said he had a very, very high dose of heroin in his system, I immediately thought, yeah, they have no idea how high a tolerance can develop, but they used the highest tolerance that someone could have, and that would be like, I don't know, 1 gram of morphine. So 1,000 milligrams of morphine would be a very, very, very high tolerance. So they used like a double of that, which would be 2,000 milligrams of morphine, which would be an extremely high tolerance. And I never met anyone who got more than 1,200 milligrams of morphine a day. And this guy had like 24, this amount times 24. So he would have to fill 24 of these needles and inject himself with that. Also, if he shot himself, he would have done it that way, and the cartridge would be on his right side, and the cartridge was found on his left side. So how did he do that? That's a magic trick. How is that possible, that the cartridge was found, the empty shell of the empty shotgun shell was found at his right side? It should have been found at his right side when he would have shot himself like that, but it was found on his left side. And it's not possible it's not possible in any scenario that he could have done that, and all of his relatives still seek justice for that. So Courtney Love was also on Jeffrey Epstein's flight log, and many other people. And there was one comedian who dared to speak about these, what Hunter S. Thompson called mansion parties or orgies. And that was Cat Williams, K-A-T-T Williams, and he said something to the extent like, he said that on before an audience on the stage, he said I was invited to a mansion party, and I never was invited before, so I was like, I really made it in Hollywood. And he said, but if you are at these parties and you look into the wrong, you open the wrong door, you see like a very famous rap star having homosexual sex with another very famous rap star, and I can't remember the names because I don't really listen to music anymore. because it's just sickening. If you just watch the interviews with one of these pop stars who are very famous now, like Billie Eilish. If you watch her interviews, it's just like, what happened to this happy, young, happy-go-lucky girl? What happened to her within like 12 months or 24 months? She is talking. She even made a video that's called, I think it's called Lucifer, or My Lucifer is Lonely, or something like that. So like John Todd said, if someone is on television, you can just check them off. They have to go through the rituals to be there. They have to do these rituals to be on television, and that includes newscasters and so on and so forth. And yeah, so about chemtrails, if it is still on YouTube, then I will find it, and if I find it, I will upload it. I found a video that looks very similar, but it is not the video that I am talking about. The video I am talking about is where he is secretly videotaping the board computer, and the pilot even explains to him all this chemtrails stuff. And I would not be very surprised if they took the video down and put up a video that looks very similar, but it is not the video where you can see the board computer and it says on the board computer chemtrails on/off. And there was also one young woman who worked for the military, and she worked, basically she did things like inventory, and there were all these huge drums full of liquid, and it said on the drums, it said like barium sulfate and some aluminium salt, maybe it's aluminium sulfate. And there were these huge drums. There were many of these drums, and she spoke out about that, and she was immediately fired for speaking about it. And after that, she tried to get the message out about chemtrails, but nobody would listen. Nobody would listen about that. And yeah, so thank you for listening, and I will end this with my favorite psalm, which is Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me on the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen.